It's WG bringing SMB. Welcome to Night of the Hunt 4. Let's talk tips, strategy, whatever else might come to mind. As usual, first off, let's have a look at the buffs. So you probably won't be able to get around the Unfettered Rage because a 30% attack increase is just massive when using the ultimate, and also lines up perfectly with Timeless Aeona's ultimate duration. And then there's, you could say, one option only for most of us, and that is Blood Soul recoveries of sorcerers and enchanters, which is going to be Fleeting Bella and Acapella. What that means is their Blood Soul recovery stat is going to go from 1000 to 1500. That allows you to have enough blood to cast all your important skills, and that's fine enough. Then this Stellar Geometry, even though while it sounds good, it is not that great because you get a card. You can use that card for good single target damage, but AoE is the important one in this stage. And this one, Blood Craze. The reason why you don't want to use Blood Craze is because it kills your Fleeting Bella. But if you don't have a Fleeting Bella, this Blood Craze should actually be better than the Forbidden Rite artifact or substat thing, because you're going to have cheaper ults and you might be able to spam more, especially with Fleeting Bella not taking away a spot. So, alright, now let's talk team and replacements. Once again, Timeless Aeona, almost a, you could say, must place if you want to get a higher score. If not, you can, if you don't have her, you can use a Van Helsing team. So use a Van Helsing with a Fleeting Bella to boost that Van Helsing, bring a Cyrene if you have her, and then instead of Timeless Aeona, you could try something else that does AoE, like for example a Dalcarlo, or like a Thibault, like a Cecia. For Cecia, you would then bring a Bella also, so that you can have the extra summons that give her the extra power boost. Or I guess even at the end of the day, you could say even a Noah for your Cecia. But yeah, overall you have highest gear priority on Timeless Aeona, second on Van Helsing, third on Cyrene. Replacements for Cyrene, also again same vein. You can use a any type of AoE DPS, because the way this works is you have an elite enemy followed by a bunch of small enemies, followed by an elite enemy, followed by a bunch of small enemies, followed by elite enemies, right? Like it's the same pattern over and over again. And yeah, artifact wise, the basic attack artifact on all three marksmen, so the Eye of Truth on level 5 if you have it. If not, just put it on Van Helsing and Timeless Aeona, and for Cyrene just give her something else. Cyrene's main purpose really here is just to give the 25% basic attack damage to Van Helsing and Timeless Aeona, with Timeless Aeona being the main carry and Van Helsing being kind of like the support. Overall, the rotation, this fight is so chaotic that there isn't really one, but what I like to do is either you start with Acapella or you start with Aeona early, then you trigger Van Helsing as soon as you can, so he at least gets going, because after that you won't need to ult with him anymore. Then you can get your Acapella in, and then you're basically gonna use Aeona again, support Aeona with that Fleeting Bella, and then it's pretty much up to you to just get your rotations in and make sure every time Timeless Aeona stops ulting, you're there to ult again. And you can use a Cyrene as well as Acapella ults to kind of rotate through. Depending on how well your units are built and how everything turns out RNG wise, you get a better or you get a worse score. I haven't really seen anything that like tactically indicates you gaining any kind of advantage from any kind of like specific rotation. The most important part really is going to once again come down to Timeless Aeona uptime, as well as RNG on who does or doesn't get hit, as well as obviously I guess Blood Moon usage. So make sure your Fleeting Bella does spend the most amount of time possible within either Van Helsing or Timeless Aeona. Yeah, and sometimes it just also at the end of the day comes down to, you could say, RNG, where your units, sometimes they move, sometimes they don't, sometimes someone dies one shot, sometimes they don't quite, which can in fact obviously massively change the outcome or the kill count. And yeah, that's kind of it. You're kind of just in a situation where you try as long as possible to try to get any certain kind of advantages. But for the most part, you can play around with a different ult order in the beginning or not, but it always tends to or ends up to be yeah, kind of the same thing. What I've also seen, which I didn't really notice big of a difference, is if you, for example, start off with Acapella, you obviously like get to your first ult first, or faster, as well as also clean up the rotation a bit. So you would then use Timeless, then Van Helsing, so he's at least ready. And then once again, you could use Acapella, trying to get to this next Timeless ult as fast as possible. And then you would, for example, get Fleeting Bella ready. Or you could try starting off with Fleeting Bella because her ultimate duration is that long anyway. But it all yields very similar results, and there isn't too much. There really isn't too much strategy that goes into this. Nothing that's like inherently apparent rotation wise, and oh, if you had done this, this would have gone oh so much better. That doesn't quite exist here, I would say. But yeah, if any of you obviously have like anything super smart, then that is obviously particularly good. Usually you can also try to play this on 1-time speed, and something that does end up helping is, for example, using Timeless Iona on elite enemies or during elite enemies, so that she's ready to start blasting these small ones once those come out again. But yeah, that's kind of also, you could almost say, the extent of it, you know? And yeah, it is to a degree pretty damn random. But also it's not something that I'm like super happy with at the moment. We do a revised version on either Saturday or Sunday if we want to push that score a bit more. But at least for now, for like a first taste, first look, nothing too crazy changed here yet.